How Iris can help your business. And please welcome Mr. Verry Musriana from Iris Midtrans. Silakan Pak.
Okay, I'll share my screen. Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining the session. So basically, in this session, I will explain how Iris as a payout solution can help businesses, especially for internet business. Right. So just a little bit of introduction to Iris. So Iris is basically one of the business unit or one of the product within Midtrans. So Iris is essentially a disbursement engine or payout engine that can allow our partners to disburse money to all bank accounts in Indonesia and also to e-wallet. For e-wallet, currently we support GoPay and OVO, but we are also expanding to other e-wallet soon, right? So Iris is currently used by a lot of internet companies in Indonesia, including GOJEK, which is probably our largest merchant right now, and a couple of others like Akulaku, Bibit, Itemku, Peluang, etc. Right. So there are multiple use cases where Iris can help, including for online marketplace, disbursing money to the sub-merchants, hotel networks disbursing money to the hotel partners, and including as well employee payrolls to by companies. Right. So these are just some of the use cases. And then what are the features that we have? So basically, Iris, the way it works is Iris is integrating with 6 major banks in Indonesia. So using our algorithm, we create a dynamic routing disbursement to allow for cheaper and also faster disbursement for our merchants. And the way to use Iris, basically there are two methodology. So one is to integrate via API, and the second is actually using web dashboard. And it's actually not a choice between, so you can actually use both at the same time as well, right? So this is the sample of the API that we use for Iris. So it's basically very simple. The way it works, our merchants just need to create this API with the beneficiary name, beneficiary account number, bank, and the amount of the payout that we want to execute. And then by sending the instruction to us, we will disburse the fund through our system, right? And then the other feature that we have is actually we have a requester and approver feature. So what are the difference, right? So for the requester is the person who got access to create the payout instructions through the dashboard, and then approver is the person that have the authorization to approve or reject the payout, right? So typically, the way our client use Iris for these two features, typically the finance staff, for example, that want to do the payout will be the requester, and the finance manager or the even sometimes CFO is the approver, right? And the approver flow is basically secured by OTP authentication. So it will improve the security of the payout operations. And then another interesting features that we have is actually we have under the Iris API, we have a bank account and e-wallet account validations that used by our merchants. So one of the common problem in Indonesia, for example, if you manage a large-scale payout, typically, for example, you got the wrong bank account number, for example. So you can utilize our API to validate whether this bank account is actually valid or not, right? So so this is part of the Iris solutions, but some of our merchants also using this to enhance their KYC process. For example, if you onboard, for example, your customer, you can utilize this API as well to validate whether the bank account is correct or not. And also you can validate e-wallet account. Currently, we can only validate GoPay. So because as you may already know, GoPay is connected to a phone number, right? So if you input the phone number into our system, our system will basically check whether this phone number have an existing GoPay wallet account or not. Right? Another feature that we have is we basically have a report management. So you can have a detailed reporting of all the payout operations that you execute as a mean of reconciliation for your day-to-day operations. Right. So yeah, I think that's basically the main features of Iris. So it's in general, it's a very simple. So let's go to the next page where how some of our clients utilize Iris basically, right? So for example, one of the very interesting use cases where our client use Iris is actually for marketplace, for example, like e-commerce platform, where they manage a lot of the seller in their platform, right? So basically, we can connect Iris with the payment gateway solution that are offered by Midtrans. So once the platform accept payment from customer through different payment method, the transaction will be reconciled by the marketplace, and then the marketplace will create the payout instruction based on which seller was this particular user, for example, make purchase from, and then the marketplace will utilize Iris to make the payout to each of the individual seller, right? So the payout could be it could be daily, it could be weekly, it could be monthly. It depends on the SLA of the marketplace, right? So some of the benefit by using this solution is we can actually improve the SLA for payout from 1 to 2 days to real time. So why we are saying that, I think for those who are familiar with how money transfer works in Indonesia, right? So there are 3 types of money transfer. So one is the online transfer, second is SKN, and the third one is RTGS, right? So for the SKN and RTGS, there is a shift every day, and there is also a limit of how much money you can transfer using each method. By using Iris, basically we can make sure all the transaction can be done in real time without relying on the SKN and RTGS cut-off time. And also we can reduce the cost by more than 90%. Like typical money transfer, for example, is about 5,000 and up to 25,000 IDR per transfer for large volume transaction. For Iris, by using Iris, the transaction cost can be a lot more cheaper than the normal methodology. Another case study, for example, is for GOJEK. So GOJEK is our one of our largest merchant, right? So Iris is basically the backend that are being used by GOJEK as a group to manage the several disbursement operation. So the first one is the merchant withdrawal. For example, like GoFood merchant, like for example, at the end of the day, they want to cash out their GoFood sales for the day. It's powered by Iris. Driver withdrawal also powered by Iris, and also one of the new features that are available in GoPay right now. If you go to the GoPay, your GoPay application, using GoPay, now you can actually transfer money to not only GoPay but to other bank account directly from GOJEK application. So that these three use cases is actually powered by Iris, right? And other interesting facts from this case is actually we process up to 10 million payouts every month from GOJEK alone. So this is actually a testament on how scalable the solutions actually is, right? So yeah, that's the second case study. Yeah, so that's basically Iris currently, right? And then in these sessions, I'm proud to announce that we will actually launch a new feature for Iris called Iris Pro. It's currently in a pilot program, but we will launch it to the market soon. So what's the difference between Iris Pro and the traditional Iris, right? So for those of you who manage payout operations, especially the finance staff, right? I think it's typically a very familiar view. If you see the finance staff basically managing a lot of like cash management platform from different banks, right? So typically the finance staff have like 5 or 6 different tokens to manage the payout operations, right? And it's actually quite burdensome, right? So as a finance ops, you need to make sure you have enough balance from each of the banks, and then you need to manually input one by one from each of these cash management platform to execute the payout operation accordingly, right? So what is Iris Pro, right? So basically, Iris Pro is a centralized platform that will basically aggregate all the different cash management platform into Iris platform, right? So what does that mean, right? So if in case if you have a multiple cash management platform for your company in different banks, by connecting to Iris, you can control all these different cash management platform through Iris dashboard, right? So this is a partnership that we've already formalized with 4 of these banks, and basically it can help operations. So typically for a company that have a very large scale payout operation like ride-hailing company, e-commerce, and also like P2P lending and investment platform, right? So the way it works is basically merchant will have their own bank accounts in these 4 banks, and then in order to enable this platform, we will need to create an agreement between each of these banks and Iris, and also as the merchants, basically to allow Iris as an aggregator and give access to Iris to the cash management of these 4 banks, right? And after that, after we got the access to the API, we can execute the disbursement from each of these banks, right? So by using the Iris API, you can execute, for example, if you want to transfer to BNI, BRI and Mandiri, Iris will access these 3 banks, simultaneously, and then we will execute the transfer using the in-house transfer mechanism provided by each bank, right? So that's basically what Iris Pro is. Yeah, I think that's it from myself. Feel free if any of you have questions.
Right. If you guys have a question, you can drop your question in the question box or directly email to Pak Verry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I think there's no question right away. All right. So thank you, Pak Ferry, for sharing an outstanding topic. And if you guys have a question, you can directly email to Pak Ferry. Maybe Pak Ferry, can you tell your email in?
Yeah. So yeah, I think you can email to this email here, iris@midtrans.com, or you can also email me directly, which is
Mhm.
Verry, Verry dot Musriana, Musriana, at midtrans.com. Yeah.
Okay, right. So thank you once again, Pak Ferry, for sharing this topic. Before we finish, we would like to inform you that Meet Magento 2020 Indonesia, we will be distributing 50,000 rupiah worth of GoFood voucher for the first 100 attendees who have logged into the who below. The voucher is only valid for today, September 17, 2020. And if you are the lucky of the winners, you can check your emails to claim your voucher code and how to redeem the voucher in GoJEK app. We can relax and enjoy a good meal while turning into the Magento 2020 Indonesia. We also have a lot of exclusive prizes, and of course, a grand prize is for you. All you have to do is to earn points by engaging in various activities in our platform. For actively interacting in our event feeds, networking with fellow participants, completing your Hobilo profile, to participating in games, and many more. At the end of the event, the participant with the highest activity point will win a grand prize of Samsung Tab S7. The more points you have, the bigger your chance of getting the grand prize. You can also win exclusive prize including exclusive merchandise from Ice and Some in 12 winners, voucher from Indodana for 10 winners, MAP voucher worth of 300 rupiah or for 5 lucky winners, 1,000 rupiah worth of voucher from Dot Digital for 3 winners, and 30% discount voucher for 500 participants, and 50% discount voucher for Sesa with a minimum purchase of 250 rupiah. So I think it's all for today. Thank you for all participants in today's webinar.